I had my birthday dinner here at my place last night, and just looking around at everyone's faces, it's pretty fucking awkward because they were all just singing happy birthday to me. But just looking at everyone's faces of all these people that I cared about, I realized that literally everything in my life has improved since I started to work on my relationships, since I started to work on my connections. And just this morning, I was thinking about what that actually meant and what approach I took. So I just wanted to break it down into three general principles that helped me actually do that, helped me actually get into improving my connections, relationships, connections with people. Firstly, I stopped looking at relationships and connections as a black box, but treated it as an actual skill. Number two, I took initiative to actually start and do the thing myself. And number three, I built a solid stack of evidence in my favor. So for point number one, to treat like social interactions and connections, relationships as a skill, the main point here is that I no longer looked at it as a black box. I no longer accepted the nebulous, general, very broad terms that people normally use to describe social interactions, like charismatic, or he's a social person, or he's a people person. Like none of those terms were helpful. They were not operationalized in the way that you can actually take action off of it. Like you can't tell a person who's already not charismatic to be more charismatic because he doesn't know what that means. He doesn't know at the time, I didn't know the component aspects of what it meant to possess that trait and to demonstrate that trait. What patterns and behaviors actually build into someone who is charismatic. People refer to it as if it's one thing that you either have or don't have. In a way that's kind of true, but really it's a collection of 1,000 different micro skills, micro actions, micro behaviors, like tonality, eye contact, how long your pauses are, who you talk to, how often you initiate conversation, what kind of questions you ask. Everything is feeding into the thing that people generally refer to collectively, vaguely as charisma. Because it's obviously, I'm not going to say, this is an Alex Hormozy point. He says, you're not going to like list out every single aspect just to say someone's charismatic. No, you just say, oh yeah, he's charismatic. But what you mean is he says the right things at the right time. He talks really well to people. He makes people comfortable. He asks interesting questions. He's also interesting himself, but not too pretentious. Like all of that stuff. That is what we consider as the collective term of charisma. But the main thing I did back then was, because I didn't know what the fuck that meant, break it down as granularly as possible, because then I can actually take actions to address specific aspects. I'm not going to list out all the different components. You can probably just find it. Otherwise, watch my other videos or just search for really good places to look. Charisma on Command, great channel. He breaks down, I think his name's Charlie, very, very basically legendary channel that helped me from the start, breaks down a lot of different components that add to what people generally refer to as charisma. For me, one of the main examples was eye contact. So before maybe 2024, I struggled with eye contact so hard that I couldn't really look anyone in the eyes for more than 2-3 seconds, basically. Maybe even less. It was super fucking awkward. I was just like darting left and right. I didn't know where to look. Every time I talked to someone, especially if I thought they were like cooler than me, more attractive than me, more high status or whatever my brain was thinking at the time, as soon as I thought someone else was like better than me in any other way, actually no, just for everyone, actually, it was universal. It was non-discriminatory. I couldn't look at anyone in the eyes for more than maybe like 1 second. It was horrendous. So I found that as a particular aspect that would increase my perceived charisma or confidence, and also just give myself a bit more like security, self-assuredness, that I can actually look someone in the fucking eyes when I talk to them. That was something specific, real, that I could work on, that I could action every time I went out. Every time I talked to someone, I could think in the back of my mind, can I just try work on this a little bit? Can I try to sustain eye contact a little bit more? Can I try to actually put practice and effort into the one skill which will be a component to the charisma that I want to be able to build, so I can get the connections that I want to have, or that I can deepen the connections that I want to have and become the person that I want to be. Really breaking it down into granular details. eye contact is one of them, duration, awkwardness of eye contact, where you're exactly looking. Like you could break it down even further than that. Like how open are your eyes? Are you like kind of, a relaxed hooded eye, or are you, super, super open eyes? Any fucking degree of granularity that you want to break it down to, you can take it there. That all of that is a bit more useful, at least. Like obviously there's risk of over obsessing over that, but at least the granularity is better than the lack of clarity you get with these blanket terms like charisma. So that's the first point. I want to also add in a little bit regarding, or just read what I wrote here. One tip on treating things as a skill and, working on these granular details: temporarily ignore what is naturally you, what feels like a natural thing that you do, because what's natural to you, the way you speak, the way you sound, the way you look at people, the way you like move your body, that's just a collection of accidental factors and influences throughout your life as you grew up, as you went about your life. Those are a collection of unintentional influences that have shaped and like codified themselves into your behavior because you've repeated them so many times, or fucking childhood trauma or various childhood influences. They have carved that into your pathways. Like it's not naturally you, it's just a fucking coincidence basically. So you can, and I'm not saying to, push all of that away. I'm saying to temporarily like step aside from sticking to your natural self to work on skills first, the requisite skills that are adding to the desired results you want. And then after you have some practice with the skills, then you can evaluate whether or not you want to change yourself. So whether or not you think this is actually, like, basically just evaluate the deck of cards that you have, and if you want to pick up a new card, essentially. Like, you get to fucking choose. The awareness and the practice lets you have choice rather than being subjected to the natural you, which is actually just a coincidence and a collection of accidents that you had fucking no say over because you were 7 years old. And that's just the way people talked around you. And then you got influenced by it, right? This is about regaining some degree of control so that you have a bit more agency over your life and the way that you connect and the way that you show up in your social interactions and for yourself. Okay, I don't know why I was talking super fast there. I think I got a bit too excited. But point number 2, take initiative to do the action yourself. In all these social interactions, someone or something has to go first. Like, nothing happens until some force acts on it or creates the reaction, creates the interaction itself. It's either going to be some kind of external event or some kind of forcing function. For instance, you are, this is a fucking bad example, but you have a car crash, you're probably going to go talk to the other person, right? External events enforce interactions. Otherwise, you or the other person, someone has to enforce or initiate the interaction. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. This sounds super fucking obvious, but I had to drill it through my own head that it takes two to tango. It's nothing's going to work unless I actually step into it, unless I actually try to start something. And I heard this quote from, I might be butchering the wording. It's from Ali Abdaal, and I heard it quite a few years ago, like before I really started working on my connections. He said that people are generally nice. They are just waiting for you to go first. And the funny thing is, at the time, this was probably 2021, 2022. At the time, I didn't believe him because I thought nobody actually wanted to talk. Nobody wanted to talk to me in particular as well. And obviously now I know better. And now I know that that is true. That is the case. And the funny thing that I do want to say is, like, everyone says you do have to go first. I'm going to say you technically don't have to. Yes, you can wait for interactions and, like I said, external influences to initiate these interactions and initiate these connections. You can wait and people will end up talking to you as well. But the main thing is, it's not actually true that you always have to go first. But the main thing is, that is the only way to reliably get your reps and practice in. That is the only way you can reliably generate interactions, because otherwise you are on the passive, you're on the defensive. You're just fucking sitting there like a sitting duck, waiting for fate or the universe to act upon you, and for people to just like, you're like an NPC just standing there waiting for someone to walk across and initiate the conversation. You're not a player character, right? You're not actually doing anything. You have no agency. So in that sense, it's less about, it's kind of like a two-part problem, right? It's not actually that you have to initiate every conversation, but it's just that if you want high enough repetition and consistent enough volume to actually get good at it, to get better at it and work on those skills that we said in the first point, you have to pursue the opportunities and create the interactions yourself. Otherwise, there's not enough reliable like traffic, really. And secondly, you don't want to reinforce the passivity, which is what got you here in the first place, most likely, because that's what happened to me. I was reinforcing the passivity and the NPC mindset in a way where I just wait for shit to happen to me. I'm not going to say that's actually, I will say that's a bad way of life, to be honest. I was going to say, I don't want to judge people because I know what it felt like to be there, because I was there for most of my life. But it's not fair to your younger or older self, or to be frank, your fucking current self as well. It's not that good of a life, because again, I lived it. It's not judgment in terms of like, you're a dumbass, like fucking do something, but it's more so like, come on, you can do more than that. You were made an agentic person. Whether or not you believe free will is real, but like you can do shit basically. And if you want to improve on these skills, you have to control the controllables, right? You have to create as much reliable volume and input as you can. Otherwise, the sporadicness between bouts of interactions, if you are a passive bystander, means that you just won't get that good fast enough, or you'll forget everything you learned by the next time it happens. This is just like if I'm trying to get better at playing an instrument at the start. If I only play guitar like once a month or twice a month, I'm not going to get that good. Like unless I play for, I don't know, 60 hours in one go, right? Which is not really going to happen. You want as much reliable flow as you can, because you're trying to get better at the skill, and repetition is key. So this is really about not being just a passive bystander, but also getting enough volume, like literally in a way, to get your practice in. Otherwise, you're not going to make any progress like meaningfully. You'll forget everything by the next time you go to another interaction, which is what happened to me in the past. So I would wait for external circumstances, whether it's like uni events or, friends inviting me or just bumping into people. Every time after the event, it would have gone, some things went well, a lot of things went bad. I would have a lot of thoughts in my head, felt like I was so awkward so many times. But then, I'll say, oh yeah, I want to do this different, I want to do this different. That was so fucking shit, that was so awkward, I was so cringe. I want to do this. But then I don't go actively pursue anything or create the next time to practice. So then by the next event, which is like 3 weeks away, I've fucking forgotten all the things that I just said that I wanted to change. Right? Because I never set myself up for success, really. So taking initiative, that was a bit of a rambly point. That was so necessary to make the conditions for growth more likely. And again, an add-on point is, it is hard to take initiative at the start. Like, it's easy to fucking say, just do the thing, right? I get that it's hard, but it is hardest at the start. It is by far the hardest at the start, because the problem, it's like a chicken and egg situation where the less momentum you have with interacting with people, with your life and progress in general, with your external visible success and like interest in general as well, the less you have of that, the less people will come to talk to you in the first place. The less other people will initiate with you. Nowadays, when I don't really need it anymore, like I can initiate with basically anyone I want to talk to. I can try to create connections wherever I really want. But now when I don't need the help, people are more likely to interact with me, because I am, I have more momentum. I have been building in public. I have been, creating these videos, showing my personality, myself, giving value to people, hopefully. And there are more signs of external visible success or things that people might find interesting about me. I have put a lot more work in. And then now when I don't need help, like, interactions come to me. I can just be the NPC standing there and it's just like people talk to me. But when I needed it the most, no one fucking talked to me. So it's really hard, but trust me, it's that first part that's the hardest because it feels like it's going to be like that forever, but it's not. I don't know how else to say that. Like, that's just something I remember where it feels like the people who need the least help get everything and the people who need the most help get fucking nothing. So it's really hard. But then that also means when you are that person, no one's really going to help you. Obviously, I make these videos to hopefully help some of you guys, but I can't be there like right next to you to help you. There's no substitute for you generating the momentum yourself. And then that is in turn later what will make people interested in talking to you as well. That's that momentum you generate through working on yourself, your body, your finances, your creativity, building like a product, building videos, whatever it is, your social skills. Then you will have, I don't know what's the right analogy, but basically you will become more magnetic, and then you can wait for interactions more. So yeah, that's just it's a bit of a tangent, but it's more of a hopeful reminder. It fucking sucks right now, but that's kind of the nature of the game, unfortunately, at the start. When you need the most help, there's no one coming to actively help you. But trust me, that is just a temporary illusion of a very thick wall to get through, if that makes sense. Or, no, it's a very, very high wall. You feel like you're on one side of the wall looks fucking insurmountably high. But what I'm saying is, it's actually not that thick. So if you try to climb it, it's fucking impossible. But it looks daunting as hell and impossible to get around. But if you just dig through it, it's actually not that thick. Or let's say it's not that wide. Like, you can just walk around the back. So yeah, that's just a quick hopeful reminder. Ideally, it can inspire some people. And final point, I know I'm rambling quite a bit for this one. I didn't really have much of a plan going in, but final point is building evidence, stacking evidence in your favor. And this comes from doing the other things that we just talked about first, like breaking down specific skills and working on those, and then taking initiative to create interactions as much as possible to get your reps in. Then, once you start doing those, even a little bit, you start to actually accumulate evidence. And the main thing here is you're building belief in yourself, even if you're not winning. Even if the things are going to shit, you're building belief in yourself. And I have to frame this in a careful way, because it's not that you have to be knocking it out of the park right out the gate. The main thing is, to me at the time, how do I say this? It kind of forked into two different aspects of this one point. When things turned out poorly for me, when I tried shit, tried to work on my skills, tried to go talk to people, whatever it is, and it was awkward as fuck. It botched the conversation, like fumbled some conversations with guys, girls, in my sales job with clients. When those went poorly, the actual lesson to me at the time was, oh shit, I am still alive. Like, did I die? No. And although it was an objective loss at the time in that small time frame, long term that was a gain. And also mentally, psychologically, even physiologically, because I had done so little things in the past, because I had taken so little initiative in the first, 23 years of my fucking life. Like, I barely did anything on my own accord. My body and mind didn't actually know that I could try, fail, and then still be alive. Like, I think I had to prove to myself through failures, through fucking like so many things up, fucking up so many conversations, so many sales pitches, so many, like over the last 2-3 years, it's been a plethora of shit interactions. So I'm not saying that I just came out of the gate swinging, right? Those failures actually taught my body that you can fail and you will still be alive. Because obviously, logically, that's pretty obvious, right? Like an awkward conversation, I'm not gonna explode and just die. But the thing is, my brain didn't know that at the time because it never had any evidence to the contrary. It never had any evidence to prove that wrong. It always had a doubt. It always had that fear. And previously, my first 22, 23 years of my life, I never confronted and disproved that doubt in my brain, that nervous, fearful instinct. I was always operating out of fear. So I always either ran away when things got hard or I lied or something. I just avoided it. Basically, I had never proven to my entire being, my entire fucking existence as a human being, no part of me had the reassurance that I would be okay with failure. That I would be okay with putting myself out there, having a cringe fucking conversation, fucking up every single line, and then still being alive, still being okay. Like, I felt supremely embarrassed for like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 embarrassment for 45 seconds, for 3 hours, for 10 hours, for 3 days. And then the fourth day, I was okay. The fourth day, like, life still went on. I was still fucking alive. I didn't explode into a million pieces the instant someone looked at me weird or thought I was lame or whatever. I think that was one of the most valuable things in this chapter of me working on my connections. Like, out of everything we've talked about, obviously the skills, obviously the taking initiative, that stuff helped heaps on the objective sense. But this, on a mental, psychological sense, it gave me the fortitude and resilience to be able to take a punch, basically. Because previously, again, like I said, I never gave my body and mind the opportunity to actually be in the arena and take a hit. So I never knew if I would die if I took a hit. So I always was fearful for it. And the more I ran away, the more that fearful loop was reinforced in my mind. So the more I became a fucking coward. The more I became a lying little bitch, basically. And I'm not going to blame that version of me. I was a literal kid and I didn't know otherwise. But, you know, like, if I didn't get out of that, my life would still be dog shit. And imagine, it's almost okay. It's almost forgivable as a kid. And it was less forgivable when I was 23, right? But thankfully I changed that 23, 24. And now, moving forward, like, how disappointing would it be for me, who I personally believe I have a lot of things to give, a lot of potential, a lot of things I could do. How disappointing would it be? How much of a waste if I get to 50 years old and I was still like that guy, that kid before, and I never built the evidence that I could do things, that I could like survive, basically. So yeah, that was one of the most valuable lessons for me. And just a quick little quote here from Jocko Willink. Besides death, all failure is psychological. And I wholeheartedly believe that as well. This was one of the most valuable lessons for me personally. So that's when things don't go well, right? That's the lesson you learn is, well, shit, I can survive this. I didn't know I could. The other side of things, when things do turn out well, is the lesson that I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I could pull off a miracle. I didn't know that things could go in my favor. That was essentially the win-win attitude where I couldn't fucking lose, right? Because if it didn't go in my favor, if it didn't go as according to plan, if it didn't go well, if I was embarrassed or whatever, I failed, that built my stack of evidence that I was strong, that I was, well, not strong, because I didn't feel strong at the time. I know that gave me strength in the future, but at the time I didn't feel strong. It felt like I could at least endure. It felt like I could remain despite the failures, and I could try again despite the embarrassment. So that proved, obviously now we know that that is a form of strength, of course. But then when things did turn out well, it's like, oh shit, I didn't even know I could have such a quality conversation. I didn't know talking to strangers could be so fulfilling. I didn't know I could learn, the life stories of hundreds of people at this point, probably, which is crazy. I didn't know that I could achieve so many of my dream ideal relationships to this day now with my boys around me, my tribe, some of the best guys, with bonds with me that I can barely even communicate to other people, like how good it is. And especially with my partner, my girlfriend now, I didn't know how well things could turn out. I've got this note here. This was from 2024, November. And this was actually right after, as I was walking home from the first date I had with my now girlfriend. I wrote, slowly now, I trust myself to pull off a fucking miracle. Even when I don't feel great, even when I'm nervous, I have a stack of recent evidence where I pulled through, where I did a good chat anyways, where the podcast turned out great, where the speech came through well, where I did good on the date and had a great time, where I made something work. Wow, interesting. I still get nervous, but part of me knows, he knows, you'll be okay. Lots of typos there. I was typing this while walking home or walking to the train station after the date. I'm just frantically typing it on my phone. Big smile on my face. Who knew it would lead to me here now? But yeah, I think I'll wrap it up there, dude. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. This was such a crazy journey, and I think I had to do this today on my birthday, just as a bit of a reflection and an acknowledgement of how far I've come and how far I still have to go, but how transformational this little fucking journey was. Just working on my relationships, trying to be a less awkward guy, trying to have actual conversations, trying to be able to look someone in the fucking eye when I'm speaking to them. This has taken me here now with the best relationships I can imagine, with the best romantic relationship I could have possibly. It's better than I could even have dreamed up. Writing down my ideal list of things, I couldn't have imagined it to be this good. And it's only getting better every day. Not perfect, but improving, which is fucking wild. And that's all here because I treated, this is like a summary of an essay. I treated relationships as a skill instead of some kind of nebulous concept. I took initiative and actually did the thing. And then I built evidence, regardless of whether I was winning or losing. I built evidence that I could do it and I could fucking survive and I could pull off a miracle, maybe. So I'll leave it there. Leave nothing unsaid and do the respectable thing. I'll see you very soon.